Okay guys, so tomorrow this shed should be delivered. I ordered a 3.5 by 7, I want to say, Rubbermaid shed, and this is a spot where I'm putting it. It's on the side of my house. We live in an HOA, so I gotta kind of keep it out of visibility. So I'm tucking it in over here. Patio blocks. I had a ton of patio blocks and stuff when we first moved in because I did artificial grass in the back. So they had these pavers all over the place. So I had them stacked in a pile over here, and I said, hey, why don't I use that for the base? So wood has its pros and cons. I mean, honestly, a base with wood, you could actually drill into it if you wanted to and maybe secure the unit to the actual wood base, but wood eventually is going to rot on you. So I don't even know if the pressure treated would have lasted forever. But these paver stones, I'm throwing a layer. I had 4 bags of the play sand. It's like Quikrete play sand that you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. And I'm just going to smooth out the tops because obviously these little pavers are going to have sharp edges and stuff because they all don't fit exactly perfect. I used the rubber mulch underneath. This is all rubber mulch, so it'll act per se as like the gravel they tell you to put on the bottoms of these things, just so you have water drainage. And then underneath is like a weed block. So that was already all here when we moved in. So really, material wise, so far I haven't really purchased anything besides the play sand and obviously the Rubbermaid shed, which I think it was usually like $804 on Amazon or something, and they had some kind of deal where I think they were competing with like Walmart for like $749. So after taxes, it still ends up pretty much $800. But yeah, hopefully it actually works out good. I didn't want anything huge because, as you see here, between houses we don't have a lot of room. So I wanted to make sure that where I put the shed, they still could have access to, you know, get to any portion of the house, whatever they wanted, while still having, you know, versatility of the shed. I should have enough room to get stuff in and out the front of it here, which it's not going to be super easy because of this big bush that will be directly in front of it, but I'll make it work. Yeah, I could have bought one with, I guess the door was on this side, but I didn't go that route. I wanted this one to pretty much try to go flush up against the house here. There's no windows it's going to be blocking. When we first moved in, somebody actually had a kayak little rack stand that was actually into this wall here. So what I did was, when we first moved in, I'm not a kayak person, I have a boat. So I ended up cutting the bolts off because they had actually lagged right into the house. I cut the bolts off, and then after we had the house painted and stuff, it kind of like hid where it actually was. But I figured this is a perfect spot. I didn't want to use a backyard. We don't have a huge backyard, but I mean, we have like a little patio back there, and I didn't want to really encroach on the patio. So this here, basically, I'm going to put a generator out here and probably like an air compressor and stuff. Big items that because I live in Florida, we don't have basements. So this house does have an upstairs, but there's only so much room you have for items that really shouldn't be in the house. I have a jet ski in the garage. My girl parks her car in the garage, so there's tons of stuff that, you know, hog up space in the garage. And between trying to move stuff around, shimmy stuff around, hang stuff up on walls, I was pretty much out of room. So this shed here isn't going to offer a hell of a lot of room, but it'll give me some type of space where I can put some larger items and just keep them out here. And the only thing I'll have to eventually work on is figure out how to lag this thing to the ground, which I might just have to run straps around it and put like ground anchors, screw them into the ground on each side, and then just run a big strap right across the thing, because Florida, we do run into hurricanes and stuff, and this wouldn't be something that I would want to have to take down in a hurricane, because I mean, once again, it's going to be a pretty big unit. Once I put it together, I'm not going to want to keep pulling it apart again. So I'm going to go ahead and basically level out this sand all over the top here, and I'll cut back on as soon as that's done. And like I said, the unit should be delivered tomorrow. I probably won't have a chance to put it up tomorrow, but when I do get a chance, we'll go through that process too. All right, till then, later. All right, so receiving the Amazon box, and it's kind of open. I'm not going to be able to mess around with this thing for about a week. The rest of it is in the wrap, but the bottom's open, so I just wanted to document this in case anything's missing and I try to build this thing. Once again, not going to be able to mess around with it for a week, so. Alright, boys and girls, I'm going to give you a fast little peek at this shed now built. There was a bunch of, well, not a bunch, but there was a few tutorials on assembling this. I did it myself. So, since I was in a rush, I didn't get to record the thing, but there is a few out there. There's one that the kid kind of bounces around a little bit, but you get the gist. And then there's, of course, the one by Rubbermaid that they show you with two people that put the thing together. It can be done with one person. It is a pain, but I think it took me, I don't know, maybe around, within a few hours anyways, to put it fully together. And then, of course, the rest of the day was figuring out how to load the thing. So it did come in that box like I showed you. It was a big box over here, and the box was sort of opened. I didn't notice any missing pieces. The thing basically I didn't notice any damage to it. I mean, it looks okay. I mean, I can't really complain. It's not the most beautifulest thing, but I get the light colored one because the house obviously is light colored. So, and basically on this side here, the reason I didn't kick it all the way over is because this fence actually opens up here, surprisingly. So I needed some kind of gap to open the fence, but it still gave me plenty of room. This is the bush I was talking about that's in front of it. So, see my feet here. 1, 2, 3. So maybe a little more than 3 feet between the bush and the front of this thing. I needed to try to hide it because, once again, this is an HOA and you're not supposed to really stick these things in visibility. So I put a little junky padlock on it that I had in the house, and we'll take a peek real quickly. Hang on. Alright, get the padlock off. So, because my base, like I said, I put the bricks down. I just basically pulled back the rubber mulch and then laid a layer of the rubber mulch on the bottom. I tried to like sift out the high spots and stuff. Put these bricks, which it wasn't these particular bricks, they were bigger, but I think I ended up maybe using a few of some of those things. But it was just, I just used what I had, put it down, put the sand down, pretty much tried to level it the best I could. I didn't really spend a ton of time leveling the pad, which might be a good idea to level a pad, because what I did notice is this thing is pretty heavy. I think it was almost 300 pounds. So when it sits, if you don't have it perfectly level, these doors kind of don't seat perfectly correctly up there. I don't know if you notice, there's like a little lip there and there's a little lip there, and they're supposed to catch those top lips. But as you can see here, this one catches fine, but this one really doesn't catch. But luckily this is the door that shuts first. You see how it's got this notch out, and then the other one kind of locks it in, so I'm not too concerned. Yeah, I probably could throw some shims under that, bottom piece there, and then try to shim this where the door comes up a little bit. And if I have any problems with this door opening, it's windy today and this door hasn't budged. So if it is later on an issue, then I'll try to do something like that. But as you can see, I started loading this thing up. I needed somewhere to put my, and this probably is outdated now. This is my projector housing for my holiday stuff that I display on the house. But I'll probably end up changing that around this next coming year, which means I'll probably be able to get rid of this big unit and kind of downsize a little bit. But another Halloween prop here. I got just some aquarium rocks in that thing. Some snorkeling style equipment in there. Basically, that's a third lung. And I just kind of like tried to keep most of the swimming / summery stuff on this side. Eventually, like I said, I might end up putting a spare air compressor in here and stuff, but I definitely needed space that I didn't have in the garage. I think they sell like shelves and hanging stuff for this thing. I didn't really read up on what these little guys are for. I don't know if they're supports or not, but the supports that basically I found that I read on, I find in the manual, just kind of go in there, hook into the side, and they just help hold on the roof. Other than that, you got these little screws spaced around that hold on the roof. Besides, it snaps into certain places going around the trim. So I guess for the most part was snapping certain sections in that I found to be a little bit of a pain. Some of these back and side panels, and once again that all comes down to whether or not your flooring, your base is actually level. The more level your base is, the easier I think it is to snap this thing together. Because I had like slight dips here and there. There were certain sections that didn't want to snap together. So I just basically pushed it in as far as I could, and then eventually put the screws in, which pulled the pieces pretty much together. So we've definitely had our share of rain, and I'm looking in here now. I don't see any wetness in here at all. Nothing's damp. So obviously it's protecting the stuff there. The little louvers, little vent louvers that they have up here, the way they're designed, unless the rain kind of comes maybe in from an under angle or something like that, I really don't think you're going to get much rain or wetness in here. It does have like these little ports here and there, but I don't think they fully go through, because see how it's like discolored in the back. I think that's plastic back there. I'm not particularly sure what these little holes are for, but other than that, it did give me the room that I needed thus far. Now, as years go on, will this thing run out of room? Absolutely. But you can really stuff these things. I mean, if you want it to work better and you don't want to have to shuffle stuff around, obviously a bigger shed would probably be what you're looking for. But if you're like me and you're working with a tight space to put it, and you don't want it super visible, and you just want enough to crunch some stuff into here, it actually works out fine. Price, like I said, I mean, is it worth, like, I think I ended up paying, it was on sale for like $750 something, and then after taxes it basically comes to like $800, a little over $800 I think. So is it worth that? I mean, I guess it varies on your situation. For me, to have the extra storage space, it was definitely worth it. The videos I've watched, I haven't seen anybody post a video of, well, not this particular one anyways, like a long, I don't know how long this series was out for, so I haven't seen how it holds up. long term. I think somebody posted maybe like a 5-year one, and he said his held up perfectly fine within the 5 years. So I guess you look at the price you pay for it and just divide that into how many years you hopefully get out of it, and then you can see if it's worth picking up one of these where you can have your stuff on site with you, or pay for like a storage place, which is monthly fees, and they constantly seem to go up and down unless you can get locked into a contract of, you know, paying a storage place to store some of your items and stuff like that that don't fit in your home currently and stuff. So, and then as years go on, people, you know, they hold on to crap, and then they're finally like, nah, I don't really need this, and then they get rid of it. So that actually helps you make space too. But this one here, I definitely have room if I wanted to eventually get another one of these things. I could either put it in the backyard where I originally didn't want to put anything, or I do have another spot in between these windows here where if I move some stuff around, I could stick this identical one pretty much right there in between those two windows, and still be able to see out of the windows fine, and have another storage unit on this side of the house, which once again, only time will tell whether or not this basically pans out, and if I find that I'm still running out of room. But I figured I'd give you this little update and what I thought of it so far. And like I said, only time will tell whether or not this thing is worth it or not. To me, right now, I'm very happy with it. So, and I can't say that it was too much of a pain in the butt to put together, considering I did it myself. So if you have an extra friend or something like that that's around when you build a thing, it's only going to make it that much easier. But I do suggest, my biggest thing would probably be, make sure you spend some time leveling out that base, because I think most of my problems I ran into was because my base, I didn't spend enough time leveling it out and making sure that that was, you know, as level as I could get it before assembling this thing, only because I was in a hurry, and once again I needed the space. So, but either way, it still doesn't work out too bad. You just may have to muscle a couple of parts around a little bit more than normal. So, all right, any questions, just leave them in the comments.